Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't like to use movies to make a point, but sometimes they are very useful because a lot of people watch movies. And as long as you don't claim the movie as being true, regardless of, hey, it's based on a true story. Yeah, how much? 1%? It was sometime in the past was one man, and that's the whole truthfulness about the movie. Every time when I have someone or some of the same kind telling me it's based on a true story, my question is, how much do you know it's based on a true story? How much? And how much is made up? What's the percentage? 2%? That's not based on a true story. 98%? Yeah. So I have to do this because it's easy. I'm guessing for my generation or older generation, you guys watched Scarface with Al Pacino, right? Well, in that, if you didn't watch it, it's an interesting movie. In that movie, how did he die? How did he end up in bad situation? I think he, Al Pacino, why did I say Al Pacino? Al Pacino, god damn it, who was a mafia boss, he overstepped his condition. He thought he was more than actually he was. And he stepped on the shoes of someone bigger than him. And that bigger than him sent his squad and killed him. And his whatever organization, illegal, whatever he had. So sometimes people, in their paranoia, which I think Al Capone, Jesus Christ, Al Pacino, which is Scarface, right? Tony Montana. He thought at that point that he is bigger than he was. So he expanded further, like the Roman Empire, and then got fucked up from, someone bigger. So I think this is the case, exact case with Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. He is, I think, in Al Pacino's Scarface, Tony Montana's role right now. His head is too big, and he's going to, and he is right now, I think, stepping on someone stronger and bigger than him. He steps on those guys' cock or shoes, however you want to call it. In Romania, sometimes we call it, you step on my cock, that's wrong, and I'm going to smash you or smack you, however. So what happened? Let me show you. Zelensky threatens Putin's grandchildren. Now, what do you think that would happen? What would be? Russia Today, 16th of January 2024. I'm going to use direct quotes according to Russia Today. Zelensky threatens Putin's grandchildren. The Ukrainian leader got personal in his speech at the Davos World Economic Forum. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has threatened Russian President Vladimir Putin's entire family with criminal trials and long prison sentences during a speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Well, that's not new, especially for Zelensky's time. How familiar are you with what happened to the families of the Nazi criminals after the Second World War? Do you know what happened with the families? Do you know what happened to, let's say, Goering's wife? Do you know what happened to, let's say, Albert Speer's family? Or Mr. Krupp, whatever his name is, the presidents of certain companies that collaborated with the Nazis. Do you know what happened to them? Do you know what happened with the families? If you don't, I can suggest you check it out. So they were rounded up and they were interrogated and more than that. And then what happened to their parents? Obviously, they were tried and all that, and they received what was just coming from these guys. That was the reason why that guy, the bad dude, Adolf, he did not want to see the Western justice. Okay, that was one reason why he said, you know what? After he heard about what's his name, Mussolini being hanged upside down by the people, like Gaddafi, hung down and pissed on and fucked and all that, together with his mistress in Milano, in Piazza di Milano, I guess. He said, well, I'm not going to let this guy provide me that kind of justice. So he blew his brain out. Anyway, that's one thing. Now Zelensky, he's telling Putin that your family, that is really not, doesn't have anything to do with that, will be incarcerated and sentenced and criminal trials. Why? I tell you why. Because under a certain kind of dogma of a certain kind of religion, that's collective punishment is allowed, right? Not by, let's say, other civilizations. Collective punishment is like, let's say, you commit a crime, I hope you don't, and you commit a crime and they come and they arrest your family just because it's your family. And then after that they bulldoze your house just to be closer to the reality. And then they put your children, I don't know, in prison and so on. Remember what happened to, what happened to the relatives of, when it was the French Revolution? Do you remember what happened to the families, to some children put alone in prison, and they died in prison? Children of the family, because they were royal. Well, we did that too, didn't we? So did we learn anything? That happened in what? In 17 something, 90 some. And how far are we from there? How far are we from there? So let's go to this article and see how this Zelensky, Tony Montana, with a big head, he's not understanding his limits anymore. And he's going to step again on someone's cock, and he's going to get it. Maybe not from Putin, maybe from someone from his team. Like Tony Montana got it from Sosa. I think it was the guy that fucked him up. Sosa. Okay. Zelensky addressed the gathering of aspiring global leaders focused on asking for more weapons, money, and ammunition so he could continue to fight Russia. And this is what he said. Putin will not rest in peace, both in this world and in the next. This is dogmatic. All right. Oh my God. We're going to live after life and we're going to meet our maker and be judged and all that. Said Zelensky, neither his children nor his grandchildren. The Russian leader is, and I'm quoting, the sole reason why various wars and conflicts persist. It's not you, isn't it? No. Why didn't you agree with the negotiations in March 2022? Because of Boris Johnson, who was the messenger. So why don't you use that for you a little bit? He's the sole reason. I don't think so. I don't think he's the sole reason. And he must be held accountable so his aggression doesn't embolden other autocracies. Zelensky insisted, and I'm quoting, yes, we are not terrorists, and therefore there will be criminal trials. After which Putin and his entire family would spend, and I'm quoting, a long multi-year vacation behind bars, he added. I have to point out that you see here a long and multi-year vacation, but behind bars is added by Russia Today. Okay, it's not added. The quotation marks right here are in between vacation and behind. It should be behind here if he really said that, but he didn't. They give the spin a little bit. But if you go to the direct quotation here, neither his children nor his grandchildren, again, Putin will not rest in peace in this world or the next, neither his children or grandchildren. He can't really say, I'm going to, do this, I guess. Zelensky has repeatedly insisted that Ukraine does not engage in terrorism, while admitting he would have Putin assassinated if the opportunity arose. The Ukrainian Security Service, the SBU, has operated a dedicated assassination unit since 2015, according to its former chief. The Washington Post recently highlighted the SBU's campaign of assassinations while attempting to deflect any blame from the CIA, which is deeply embedded in Ukrainian intelligence. Remember Daria Dugina right here? She was one of them, if I remember. And the other one was that guy in a blogger, a propagandist. But does the propagandist deserve to die because he's a propagandist? I mean, we have many here, the mainstream media. Go and read the definition of propaganda and you're going to find out that these guys are like that, the same. So that means the Russians or whomever, the Iranians, could do the same thing because they deem these guys propagandists. Do they deserve that? At worst, you arrest that person when you win, and you go and trial him and then do what you did at Nuremberg trials. Why? Because nobody can stop you. This is just us. So let's go further. Ukraine has targeted the local Russian officials as well as journalists such as Daria Dugina, this is Tatarsky, the one in St. Petersburg. Writer Zahar Pilepin survived an assassination attempt, while Russian security service thwarted a SBU hit on RRT editor-in-chief Margarita Simonian in November. Now, these are media people. Media people. You can say, well, they're bad. Well, I think it should be everyone deserves a trial, right? Otherwise, I make the decision and I do what? You can't do that. Work within the system. Remember, I won. Zelensky's mention of Putin's grandchildren came just a day after Anne Applebaum. Yes, Applebaum, and she's Jewish too. I checked her already. An American journalist and wife of Polish Foreign Minister Radek Sikorski claimed that the Russian president, and I'm quoting, has a grandson with Dutch citizenship. Her source was an associate of Alexei Navalny, a Russian blogger imprisoned for embezzlement. The Russian president was married from 1983 to 2013 and has two daughters who have stayed out of the media spotlight, with his ex-wife Lyudmila Ocheretnaya was sanctioned by the UK in 2022. And so, because evidence is needed in my civilization, and Applebaum right here, she is right here. Not that it matters, right? Not that it matters. I'm just saying. And Zelensky is also Jewish. And so is Blinken and Victoria Nuland and now foreign prime minister of France and the defense minister of Great Britain are all, it's just a coincidence. So please don't look into it differently. So here is my friends. What do you think? I think he's emboldened and he's allowed to make this kind of criminal claims or threats. Now imagine that Putin would have said the same thing about, excuse me, about, what's his name? Putin, Vladimir Zelensky. What do you think would have happened? They would have called Putin as he should be called. Hey, what are you doing? Are you a criminal? But they call him nevertheless without saying that. We already know. Why? Because the media tells us so. And we believe the media, right? Yep, correct, we do. So here it is. Extending his neck too far. He's trying to, how do you call it, surpass his condition. Not like that. Don't step on people's cocks, especially if they can smack you back. But he thinks he will not be smacked back. Well, we'll see. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.